Welcome to the channel. I'm CJ, and in this video, we're going to be talking about why most traders don't actually want to win when it comes to the markets. What do I mean by that? Well, as you can see, we have a setup on the screen, and we have three different trades below, and we're going to be talking about how I was able to come out profitable on these three trades, despite some of the roadblocks that I ran into, and also why it would have tripped up most traders and probably even my older self when it comes to trading and taking setups and stuff like that. So let's walk through it. As you can see, the first setup right here is a gold trade from Wednesday morning. It was during FOMC day, but this was after FOMC. I mean, not after, before FOMC during the New York session. Obviously FOMC is at 1 p.m. usually, 1:30, and I got this set up during that New York session. Sure enough, it went up and it was able to hit take profit before. No, as soon as the market opened back up, 5 o'clock, it was able to smack up the 1 to 2. It was finished. And as you can see, it even ran for more, like a 1 to 5 or something. I think it was like a 1 to 4.5 in that range. But that doesn't matter. It's cool to see those type of setups run, but once you've got your money out of the market, that is quite irrelevant. And it was a nice setup, and then boom, more news came out and it dropped it off later later that day for sure. So that was the first take profit on Wednesday. And as you can see, we got a USD JPY setup. Oh, this is the wrong pair. Now, as you can see right here, we have the USD JPY setup. Now, this setup ended up turning around and hitting stop loss. Now, before I took this trade, I actually took this one right here. As you can see, this trade is in profit. And I had actually gotten an entry right where this entry is, but my stop loss was right above this high of this bigger candle right here. And what happened was that was the wrong place where I was trying to put my stop loss. After I got in, I realized that that wasn't the place that I wanted to put my stop loss. I wanted my stop loss above the prior high, not the current high. So what I did, I went on ahead and canceled that entry, and I went and I said, okay, since I technically missed that setup, I'm just gonna go ahead and see what else that my strategy would allow for me to get into for that day. And what I did, I went over to USD JPY, and I noticed I had a trend line that was broken to the downside, and I was basically just betting on this next level to drop off, and I was hoping this downtrend would continue, as you can see. And it wasn't able to break these lows down here and continue that downtrend. It flipped around and made this low, this higher high, uh, basically a new high. So yeah, that's what ended up happening on that one. I was betting on the move to continue to drop off, and it didn't. It turned around, and that was stop loss. So with those two trades, and the even one that was a small lesson that I decided to get out of, because it was considered a bad setup in my eyes because I had the wrong stop loss. So that technically, you know, it renders the trade void in my opinion. So you got to realize sometimes you're going to have to jump out of those setups, and you're going to have to get into the setup that aligns with your rules, that is able to get your stop loss to where you want it to be. Because right here in the USD JPY setup, I wanted my prior high to be the stop loss, and that was right here. And sure enough, I got it. So I was like, okay, this is a better risk. I did miss that one. I got the wrong stop loss. Uh, I could have did a pending order, and I could have, got it in that same trade again. But, you know, I had another setup that was looking just as good. So it's gonna be times to where the setup you take is the setup that ends up hitting stop loss, and the one that you get out of because maybe you accidentally broke your rules, you realized that you had risked too much when you put the trade on. That one could end up being the one that hits take profit. And you have to realize it's not about this one single trade. It's about the next 10, 20, 30, like 100, the next 10,000 trades. It's not about this one setup that you missed and technically missed out on a bit of money. It's not about that. It's about, did you follow your system, and are you trusting your system enough to where you're allowing yourself to hit that stop loss and being able to come back and know that your system is going to produce more setups. That's what it's about. So that's a prime example right here, bro. It's like most traders don't want to win because most traders would have said, oh snap, I see that one moving. I'm gonna jump in now and get into that one. I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna jump into this one. I had one trade that I was looking for that day, so it had to be one or the other. It wasn't gonna be both. Now, if your rules permit for you to take more than one setup in that session or something like that, and it's a, so be it. But for me, I was more concerned with, are my rules met? This setup isn't technically a setup that is aligning with my rules, so I have to get out. It's no choice. It was an automatic thought, right? So, like I said, that's gonna happen. This isn't the first time that this happened, and I'm sure it will not be the last. But over the course of time, you want your system to be able to produce more wins than it is losses. And that's why risk to reward is very important. And also, not being attached to a certain trade, because it's going to be more of them that happen like this. And it's going to be days to where you go on a win streak. I went on I think a 3 trade win streak prior to this. And, sure enough, a lesson came. Now with the GBP USD setup, uh, it hasn't hit take profit yet. I think it's maybe close to a 1-to-1. But what I'm saying is that one would be blue, and I would still technically just have, the gold trade plus the other trade on the screen, if it were to close, obviously. But what I'm saying is, even though you're gonna have those times to where it's like that trade is the one that did it and you weren't in it, it's okay. It's gonna happen more. Like I said, it's not the first time, not gonna be the last, and you have to accept that. But make sure that your strategy is locked in, your rules are locked in, because that's ultimately what's gonna get you to that end goal of profitability in a certain time frame, whether that's a week, a month. You have to be able to do that. And those are the 3 setups, did I show the GBP USD, USD JPY, and yeah. So the stop loss that I had for this one was, like I said, above here. Yeah, we ran through it quite well. But most traders don't want to win because they're breaking their rules. They don't have a strategy. They're not trading in a session time. They're not allowing themselves to, be wrong sometimes. So be a part of the small majority who actually want to win, which means you're okay with taking those small losses in order to make those profits in the long run. And that's exactly what happened this week. And it's a pure example of why you can do it as well. So with that being said, we done for the week. You know what I'm saying? Blue for the week, thankfully. And we'll be back next week to check some more setups, check some more mindsets, because the mindset is way more important than any profits or points on the screen. It's always going to be about, you know, having a good mindset, allowing yourself to win, and put yourself in that class of traders who do actually want to win. I know the video says the opposite, but put yourself in the shoes of the trader who does want to win, because that's what we're here to do. And with that being said, we gone, man. Let's get it.